So you're broke as all hell, and you need something for Costco runs and taking the kids to school. You need a soccer mom utility vehicle. Today we're talking about the top 10 SUVs. Specifically the ones where your 5'2" fiance can actually see over the steering wheel. And since exit number 1 is on the way, you need something that is extremely dependable, good on gas, and cheap to buy in the first place. Before we get into it, just remember vehicle condition is key. Regardless of brand reputation, if a vehicle is rotted out or if it is poorly maintained, it is not worth buying in the first place. At number 10, we have the first gen Saturn View. The base motor in these is the 2.2 liter Ecotec. This is a motor that General Motors stole from Saab and put into all their tiny Econo boxes in the early 2000s. They're well known for going over 300,000 miles, and in the Saturn View you could actually get it with a manual. Or if you wanted to, you can get a 3.5 liter Honda V6. But unfortunately, no manual transmission with that. Now, you could find these things all over Marketplace. They're actually pretty dang cheap for what they are. But since the body panels are made out of plastic, remember to check the pinch welds for rust. Next, we have the XJ Cherokee as well as the Grand Cherokee. The XJ was produced from the early 80s all the way up to the mid 2000s. Grand Cherokee started production a little bit later in the early 90s. Now, these things are way smaller than you'd expect. If you find one of these in a parking lot, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. These things are way smaller than the new ones, but they do have way better engines. Both of these came with the AMC inline 6 that is a fantastic motor. The Grand Cherokee you could also get a 318 or a 360 if you wanted. But the later ones did come with a 4.7, you don't want that motor is trash. Now, these things had a solid front axle which makes them fantastic off-road. But if you want something that handles good, this is not going to be the SUV for you. They have a higher center of gravity, they have a lot of body roll, also they can suffer from death wobble. But if you just need something to put around town, they get roughly 20 miles per gallon, they are probably the most dependable SUV on earth, and the aftermarket is huge, plus let's face it, the Cherokee looks fantastic. If you just need a solid dependable SUV to get you around town, this is the SUV for you. At number 7 we have the Honda Pilot, the only SUV that was designed by a 5-year-old. Now, these are a 3-row SUV that has Honda's 3.5 liter V6, and this being a Honda, it's actually known to last quite a long time, which is the only reason it's on this list. Besides that, these things are bland as all hell. It's every typical Honda. It's an over-engineered but simplified interior, combined with a somewhat aggressive but bland exterior. Hell, when they came out with the second gen, they just copy and pasted everything. And when Honda decided to make a quote-unquote pickup truck, they just did a rear seat delete. Seriously, this isn't a pickup truck. You just made it easier for me to haul mulch in my Honda Pilot. Anyways, I can't knock these things too bad. But in reality, the Honda Pilot is a fantastic SUV. They get decent fuel economy, they're really damn comfortable, and they last a while. But if you want something that's just a little bit better, we have to talk about the Toyota Highlander. The Highlander is for those type of people that don't want to care about their car in the first place. Perfect for those smooth brains that thinks 15,000 mile oil changes is perfectly fine. Listen, I've seen these beat to all hell and they just don't die. It's not uncommon to see these as taxis with over 500,000 miles. So yes, the engine output is terrible and they don't handle the best. You know what? You don't need to go mock Jesus taking your kids to soccer practice. This is a 3-row SUV that is meant to be practical, not sporty. If you want something sporty, you're going to get something like a Subaru Outback. This little thing blurs the line between SUV and hatchback. But considering the direction the new ones are going in, it's an SUV now. Plus you can buy lift kits for the old one, so it's an SUV. Anyways, these are just a Subaru Legacy with a hatchback. They drive exactly the same as a car, but they are fantastic off-road like every other Subaru. You can get it with an EJ20, an EJ25, or a flat 6 that you can get with an automatic or a manual. Now, Subarus being Subarus, we all know the head gasket issue. But since it's a common thing to have happen to these things, there's actually quite a few shops that exclusively deal with Subarus for this reason. Because besides that one little flaw, these cars are fantastic. And the aftermarket is huge. You can get coilover kits, lift kits, turbo kits, sky's the limit. Legit, if you're looking for an SUV to cruise around with your vape bros, this is the SUV for you. But now we have to talk about the stereotypes. We have to talk about the Subaru Forester. That car that is perfect for that chill grandmother or the emo chick that swings both ways. This thing is an enthusiast SUV in a bland shell. And they basically came with all the same engine options as the Subaru Forester. These are just a little bit taller and a little bit more spacious on the inside. And since they're a little bit higher off the ground, you're not going to have any issues when it comes to dealing with the snow. Plus, a lot of people bought these new with a manual transmission. So if you want to go to the local Walmart parking lot and do some donuts, Forester's probably the right way to go. And at number 3, we have the Lexus RX 300. Listen, if you like any of the early 2000s or late 90s luxury cars, you're going to like this thing. It is a bland, oversimplified Toyota product that is plush on the inside. And I actually really like the styling of these. This thing looks like it could have came out in 2013, but it was designed in the late 90s. Hell, I dare say these things still hold up today. If you're looking at something like a GMC Terrain or a Chevy Equinox, for the love of God, just buy one of these instead. They're so much better. Yes, I know it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You can just put a double-din radio in it. That pile of crap Chevy Equinox you're about to buy is going to have timing chain issues, and you're going to end up with a $6,000 bill where you could have just bought this thing instead. Be smart and just buy a Toyota. Speaking of Toyota, at number 2 we have the Toyota RAV4. This is the most user-friendly SUV, period. It's small, it's fuel efficient, it's affordable, and it's cheap to maintain. Now, yes, it suffers from the Toyota tax. It's gonna be $2,000 or $3,000 more than that pile of crap GMC Terrain you're looking at. But believe me, you're better off spending the extra $3,000 on a Toyota that'll last you 300,000 miles than a GMC Terrain that's gonna nickel and dime you for the next 10 years. If it even makes it that long in the first place. Modern American cars are absolutely terrible. Just get that driven in your head. You want a Japanese small Econobox. Toyota RAV4. You either want a first gen, a second gen, or a third gen. The fourth gens kind of get to that point where they're a little crazy expensive for what they are. You just need a good SUV. The third gen is more than good enough. Easily a 500,000 mile car. Everybody and their mom can work on it. And you know what? It doesn't look that ancient anyways. But you know what does look ancient? The first gen Honda CR-V. This is the cheapest SUV to own, period. It gets great fuel economy, it's cheap to buy, and you could fix it yourself. Seriously, this thing has a B20 in it with a 5-speed. And since it's a Honda, the aftermarket is absolutely humongous. Seriously, these things are like Legos. They're so easy to work on. You can K-swap it, you could turbo it, or you can drive it 400,000 miles because, it's a Honda. For the little things that this thing lacks in features, it does make up for in simplicity. Believe me, you can do whatever you want to one of these. And it's super easy to do it. Coworker owns one of these, it has like 330,000 miles on it, and two 15-inch subs in the back. But after working on one of these for a little bit, these are so stupid easy to work on. Everything on this car is literally a 5 or a 10 minute fix. Hell, an experienced mechanic could probably get the transmission out in less than an hour. They're cheap, they're easy to work on, and they're absolutely plentiful. So if you want a fun little stick shift SUV that you can do whatever the hell you want to and it gets the job done, the Honda CR-V is the way to go. Anyways, that's going to bring us to the end of today's episode. If I missed anything, please make sure to leave it in the comments below. I try my best to read through them all, and also, this episode was actually suggested by you guys. With that being said, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will see you in the next episode.